Today on the Bar Rescue After Show, we're following a cancer-surviving, hurricane-weathering family as they try to bounce back. But can greasy cheesesteaks and no menus, can they overcome those hurdles? We'll find out right after this.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here for the Bar Rescue After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. I am not Keven Undergaro, but luckily he's here in studio, thank God. Kevin, say hey to the fans.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl, hey.
Squad goals.
I'm the only girl here. What's up, guys? I'm Nicole Brajer.
Nicole, good to have you. I have some specific bartending questions today, so I'm glad you're here.
Sweet.
And of course, if you guys are fans, you know that I've been here. Kevin's nice enough to let me come on. My name's Jeff, guys. I'm thrilled to be here, and I really, really like today's episode, guys. Today we'll be covering Season 6, Episode 14, Father Knows Best. Very smartly programmed for Father's Day.
Yes.
Yes.
Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, including this one of two white fluffy things.
Absolutely.
And your
And Maximus.
Big Max, my show.
Big Max.
Yeah, in case you guys didn't know, Kevin and Maria do have wonderful, wonderful dogs who are heavily featured on their social media, so you'll definitely want to go check this out. But I'm so excited, guys. I really like today's episode. We're talking about, again, one more time, Season 6, Episode 14, Father Knows Best. I know you guys know the show, but we'll be covering the episode. But don't forget, guys, we also have our Taffer takeaways, and we have some Bar Rescue updates for you as well. So we do it all here at AfterBuzz TV, and we're thrilled that you're here with us. So, guys, I want to talk about this episode. Overall thoughts.
One of the best.
Ladies first. Yeah, what did you think?
One of the best I've seen this season. I know I feel like we say that a lot, but this one was one of the best because we had our crazy people and we had a bar that really need rescuing. You know, sometimes it's more the rescue of maybe the staff, but this is overall, I mean, every angle, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I loved it, and I can't wait to get into this conversation about it.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I was telling you, Jeff, as I was watching it, I said, this is just so loaded.
There's a lot.
It hit on all cylinders. And I like aesthetically when we have a different kind of bar. So it was outdoor, indoor. It was indoor, outdoor kind of bar.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, as someone who's done renovations before, it was like, oh, this is going to be very exciting and very fun.
I agree.
Plus, I don't know if you guys noticed. Now, I'm not in the host position, so I can do this. Did you notice that everyone, a lot of the people on the show had nice breasts?
I will say I did notice that. Nicole maybe didn't notice that as much.
No, you didn't notice that,
I
Nicole?
have nice breasts, so I mean, I do notice.
You said that, not us.
But listen, you thought their breasts were nice because they were in your face with the corsets.
corsets.
You know, because once that corset comes off, you don't know what you're dealing with.
They're definitely, they had a very particular look behind the bar.
Yes.
And I am interested to talk about, I have specific uniform questions because
Yeah.
that was an interesting component to the
Yeah.
discussion, I think.
Yeah.
But I agree with you guys. I really like this episode too. In general, this season has had a lot of emotional stakes.
Yeah, I cried a little.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. When you feel for a family, and how can you not shed a tear?
Right.
You know.
And root for them, you know,
And root for them.
homelessness, cancer. I mean, from both the husband and wife.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, as you guys know, I'm a newer fan, but I've been binging old episodes, and it is fun to see how the identity of the show has evolved over time.
Right.
I feel like old episodes, everyone's a dirtbag, you know, Taffer's screaming.
I love them though.
But I mean, it is fun. I mean,
That's
it's just
why
a
it
different
becomes
kind of show.
addicting to watch.
Oh yeah, but this season, I feel like there's like real families and real stakes, and
Yeah.
the producers are very smartly evolving as reality TV evolves. And
I think it's John.
I'm sure it's John too.
I think it's
yeah.
John. I think he's at an age where you're gonna go. Okay, you're going to the middle of nowhere. You're an older guy. You know, you're not in the best shape. Okay, and he gives so much heart, so much passion. All right, you see blood vessels bursting on this poor guy. He cares so much, and I think he's just like, no, I'm not going to cast pearls before swine anymore. Which, when we talk, you know, he and I talk, I'm always saying, I know, but you're killing us as fans because we love Wonder Bar, we love Pirates, we love Cockroach Man.
But this lived up to those expectations, like those pirate, and I really enjoyed it.
Well, just because, in terms of the place being such a dump?
The place was a dump. Maybe the staff wasn't as dumpy as their customers, but as John said in the episode, they are a resemblance of them.
Right. Well, what I appreciate is we still have those episodes. I think the thing with TV is you can get more of the same for years and years and years, but sometimes it's nice because we'll always have Wonder Bar. We can go back to that and watch that. We'll always have Pirates. But it's sort of nice. I do feel like I agree with you. John is taking this role seriously, and he doesn't have to.
Well, he's always taken it serious, but what I'm saying is he never cared so much that Pirates got massive ratings. That Pirates is like world phenomenon, like that it's discussed by everybody. He still gets a little irked when you bring it up because he has so much passion to make a bar amazing. And the fact that the Pirates lady was like, no, I really want to play pirate. I don't care that you spent all hundreds of thousands of dollars to make over my bar. We're going to light everything on fire and then make fun of you. And he's just, I don't need it at my age.
Right.
And so I think he's now targeting people that really need the help and hopefully will appreciate the help. And I also think I like the fact you're noticing he's not changing the names as much.
Right.
Which I think sets these bars up more for success, because when you get these stubborn people,
Right.
that they're going to change the name back the next week, then it's not fun. It's,
Right.
it's,
It's almost.
and it hurts. It hurts when you're him. And I don't think at his age and with the amount of hours he works, he doesn't want to be hurt.
Right. Well, let's talk about the name and the bar, guys. This is the No Name Saloon in Edgewater, Florida. Edgewater, Florida looks like it's kind of a lower income community,
Right.
and this is a biker centric bar.
40,000 a year is the median income.
40,000 a year is the median income, and I think this bar is kind of designed to attract that sort of demo. Interestingly, though, 4 years ago, this bar was thriving. First of all, let's talk about this layout because it is kind of an amazing property.
I'm dying to hear what Nicole says about this.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I used to work at a bar like that where it was like outdoor, indoor, but this bar was like outrageous because they put like sand on it, whatever. But No Name is. It was not inviting initially, but I get.
Forget that look is haunted house looking. Forget
Yeah.
that. Or like the best quote was from Lisa Marie saying it was a rundown outdoor rundown Coachella.
Yeah.
It was a no-cella.
Right.
That's for sure.
And except with no
Yeah.
sales. But forgetting that, I wanted to ask you, Nicole, was it in Jersey that you worked the indoor outdoor bar, or was it California?
No, it was in Long Beach, New York, actually.
In New York.
Yeah, and it was remodeled too, and it became this place called Pops, and it absolutely like gorgeous, coming from nothing, being built into something. So when I first saw No Name, I was like, there is so much potential here because it's outdoor, indoor, and like that. Who doesn't love that, especially when you're in Florida and you're by the beach?
Right.
And it's also fun, I think, as a partier to party at those bars. Again,
Yeah.
forget like this biker bar or whatever,
Yeah.
but I always think as a consumer, it's really fun to be in those atmospheres. Jeff, do you have any in the Midwest that you remember?
It's funny. I think more of California when I think of like the Whaler in Venice is a bar I love. That's kind of indoor, outdoor.
Right.
In terms of the Midwest, in Cleveland, I'm from Cleveland, and there were some fun lakeside bars. And I will say,
Yeah.
the summer of my senior year, my friends and I all leased a very, very cheap boat, and we would take it out.
And that was Pops too. Like
Yeah.
people in yachts would come up, and that it's profitable. Like those are the bars that are bound to be packed every day.
The trick
and like
is
that is a bartender's dream too.
right. And the trick is it's seasonal, right? That's the trick. So you've got to make your money in that time period.
But that's why it is outdoor, indoor. You still can have success with your indoor, and you close out for season on your outdoor.
Right.
And that's what people look forward to. Like they can't wait till the outside opens.
Oh, I still, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, part of the reason there was so much space on this property is because when the hurricane hit, the family lost their home, which
Right.
was on the site of the bar.
Yeah.
Not only that, but around the same time, both the husband and wife, this is Jim and Melanie Kelly, received cancer diagnoses during this time too. So they really, when it rains, it pours, and they
Really?
got hit really hard. So their home was destroyed, and they're now living in a single bedroom home above their bar.
Which was their office.
Also,
And now-
yeah.
So you see, if you're Jon Taffer, though, and you're going to go schlep out to the middle of nowhere, have to yell and scream, go without sleep for 5 or 6 straight days, as he does, and do all this, do you see where he would want to do it for this,
Right.
in this situation, rather than a Wonder Bar or a Pirate, much to our chagrin?
Absolutely. And we do, his heart, you can see it just reaching out to
Yeah,
these families.
he's so much more calm with them too. Like just we're used to him coming in previous seasons and just already screaming, yelling, heated. And this, he comes in, and he's like, can everyone gather around? It's a different.
Again, because I think he knows a good coach knows how to coaches differently for each player. 'Cause
Right.
and I think the worst coaches have their one way of coaching, and then that's it. And you have to fit their system, or you don't. I think a better coach is like, you know what? I'm going to play to your strengths. I'm gonna hide your weaknesses. And I think Jon, I'm seeing this year, because he's dealing with more kind people. He's like was it last week was the hardcore alcoholic? I mean, someone who's very deep in the disease, and he was just like, I'm not going to yell and scream at this guy. This person he's suffering. He's so deep in his levels of disease. Like, that's not what we need to do here. We need to really. Would you yell at someone who had cancer all over their body? You wouldn't.
Right.
And I think,
Definitely. And I will say, with this hurricane, a bit of a different customer clientele than they were used to. They've always been a biker bar, but ever since some of the destruction and, vandalism, there's now people are writing all over the walls.
Flashing their boobs.
Flashing.
Having sex in the bathroom.
Craziness. So I want to get all into how Taffer deals with all this. Of course, we also have Lisa Marie and Chef Ryan Scott. But before we do, I want to let you guys know a way that you can really, really help our network, and that is through subscribing. So let me tell you a little bit about that. AfterBuzzers, here at the network, we produce after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There's no network that works harder to serve television fans. But now we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. Besides helping us a ton, here's what's in it for you. It caters specific content you already like directly to you. That's my favorite part. It brings you your favorite after shows so you don't have to seek them out yourself. And it suggests content from other channels or podcasts that might interest you. Subscribing to our YouTube channels will also help you discover shows that we're sure you'll love. Since you're already tuned into Bar Rescue, we have some other shows on your channel you might be interested in. Shows like Jersey Shore, of course, if you're into partying. And
hello, I've got a Jersey girl here, and Keven Undergaro hosts the Jersey Shore show.
Wow.
I know you Bar Rescue fans might not know if you haven't seen Jersey Shore, but it is the best guilty pleasure show I've ever seen. It's seriously such a fun show. And it's good season this season.
Jersey
too.
Shore?
I think the best since season 1.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, man.
But we also have shows like Big Brother, another guilty pleasure show, and just tons and tons of great reality content on our channel. And if you're worried about notifications, I know some people don't subscribe because of that. Those are optional.
Yes.
So I subscribe to channels.
I get them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
I
don't mind them.
deactivate them. And the thing is, I still get content catered directly to me because of subscriptions. YouTube is so smart now that I'll just open up my YouTube and all these videos I want to see are already right there for me.
Yes.
So it's making it easier. And it helps us a lot, guys, too, to subscribe to our channels. And we bring you this content for free, and we do it because we love it. So we would ask you guys, it's easy. Just hit that subscribe button now for an easier AfterBuzz experience, and let us know if you did in the comments, and we'll shout you out on air. Thanks for being the best fans, and we promise to do our best to serve you. Subscriptions.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, well, of course, Taffer's going to get in here. So we have Recon. Doing Recon, we have...
Such a good Recon.
Such a good Recon team. We have Lisa Marie Joyce, who I love, and Chef Ryan Scott of MasterChef fame.
I think I always
really
say Lisa
cute.
Marie is one of the best on the show, and I think they're always finding the best spots to put her.
Yeah.
I think she's good with a rough crowd like this.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm really impressed with Ryan Scott. He's growing on me.
Oh, I was just saying he's super cute.
Yeah.
Yes,
He's
he's
really
super cute.
But he's good. And
he's
I like
good.
the way that he communicates, too. I was really impressed with the way that they both handled this situation, but especially him. I don't know why.
Yeah. No,
Maybe
because
he's attractive, but I did.
No, he was. I think he
him.
was assertive. He was aggressive. He was funny.
Yes.
He was
Yeah,
sarcastic.
he wasn't like offensive. Like he was fun to watch.
He was fun, and I think 'cause sometimes the experts are like, listen, just because you're a good cook doesn't mean necessarily you're going to be a good teacher, and just because you're a good cook and a good teacher doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be good for TV.
Right.
He was good TV too.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I know Lisa Marie always is. So I liked it. It was great.
And I really liked the editing on this. Like, I don't know why I felt like this was different, but there was like commentary with Lisa outside while we were watching what was going on inside. It wasn't just in the car. I
Right.
don't know if you guys caught that, but
She's
it was
funny.
something like new, and I liked it.
Yeah, I thought they handled this Recon really well. Just so you guys know, we had Art Sutley, who was the editor of Bar Business Magazine. I was checking
Never
that
even
out.
knew that existed, but that's
Pretty
awesome.
good stuff. It's good. If you're a fan
Yeah.
of this show, I'd check out the magazine. I did that before we went live, and there's some good stuff in there. But tons of red flags. It's run down. It's dirty. This was an interesting stat. Taffer recognizes that it's a biker bar, but is saying we need to keep our biker clientele, but not make
Right.
it feel like a biker bar, because 80% of women won't go to biker bars. Would you go to a
Right.
biker bar, Nicole?
It's so funny. I was driving a friend of mine home from a festival. I was bartending, and he is a super biker by appearance. And then when he's like, "Yeah, I own a Harley. You want to come to this local biker bar with me for a drink after?" And I just went, "Nope." I was like, "Nope." But I don't know. I feel like biker bars, they probably make good money, like, because it's a regular spot for, so if you have your regulars and they come in and they treat you well. I don't know about these regulars at this bar. you could probably profit. But
Right.
I mean, I think
don't-
as a bartender, it's especially a female bartender, you're going to make a ton of money.
yeah.
Right.
Because I know when you think of biker, you're thinking of the Hells Angels, or you're thinking of the true one percenters, as they call them.
Mm-hmm.
But I know we have a house in Connecticut, so there's a lot of great biker roads, and there's several bars there that on Saturdays and Sundays just loaded with bikes, and it's guys that have. They're all working men with regular jobs during the
Yep.
day, but this is their time to get together. They move, and those are guys who usually have. If you have a nice bike like that, you usually have disposable income,
Right.
and they usually treat women pretty good.
Right.
They're pretty chivalrous. Believe it or not, I know it's gonna sound crazy, but it's like construction workers. Weren't they?
Right.
They as bartenders, weren't they always the best?
Yes, yeah.
to the women,
the
best
working
tippers.
man is the best tipper. So I just, like I was saying before, I feel like that. Yeah, they're scary in appearance, and but I feel like that they profit a lot.
Well, there's ways you can have both, I think, and that's what John was saying. I
Yeah,
think of
exactly. Can't be
Neptune's
a-
Net in Malibu, if you guys have ever seen that. It's north of Malibu Cafe, but it's like a biker bar,
Right.
but there's also an area where like families have seafood, and it does both.
like that a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's what they wanted
I
with
like
this
when you
bar.
cater to not just one crowd. Like I like when you walk in a bar and it's you don't feel like it's just this like like super white and like and
Yeah, I feel
and
it's the
ritzy,
worst when it's
like,
just one
it
crowd.
should feel
Yeah.
like family. And it's I'm gonna side note for a second. I just started a new bar yesterday. It's called Pineapple Hill and it's here in the Valley. If you guys want to come visit me,
Nice.
But it's like literally the woman training me. She's like, everybody knows your name. Like this is like Cheers, and this is something different for me. So every time a customer comes and sits at my bar, I have to be like, "Hi, my name is Nicole. What's your name?" and register it, and like, because it's kind of like a one-man show for daytime shifts, and I'm just talking to people like I'm talking to you, and it's I don't know, it's different. I'm feeling the vibe.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly, Lisa Marie Joyce points out that the women are all in corsets, and what she says is they look good, but there's no way to work. And when you're in a corset, you're constricted. You have to be bending down to get drinks. It's just that's not appropriate for a bar physically because of the work you have to do. She says there's other ways to be sexy behind the bar.
I wore a corset for 5 years. 5 years, and I had like scars on my sides. They're gone now, thank God. But I can say that you can bartend in a corset, Lisa Marie. It's not comfortable, but if you're a good bartender, you can make it work.
Yeah.
However, after I took that corset off after 5 years and been able to just wear like a normal black top and pants, I'm like, fuck that corset.
Do you feel like you were a better bartender without the corset, or do you feel like you could do both?
I could do both, but
Yeah.
I would say comfortability behind the bar is going to be better for you, like especially if that's your income and like you're on your feet working a lot and like that's your job. You want to be comfortable,
Right.
But I mean I felt those girls. I felt their pain. I've been there, done that. And if it's required, and especially in like a nightclub or something, I mean you're gonna probably have to wear a corset. The girls in Vegas, they're in corsets.
Right.
Well, listen, if now that they improved the bar, you didn't need it. But I was saying to myself, don't take off the corsets, and not because I was being a pig, but because the bar's so shitty.
Right.
That what else do we have to attract? Do you know what I mean? What else is there? The
That's
food sucks.
funny.
The place is a dump. Like, so.
It was the one gimmick that I feel like.
Yeah,
was pulling people
maybe,
in.
but
Yeah.
it's okay that they were able to fix it. But
Yeah. Speaking of attire, I like Jim's "Don't Be a Dick" shirt.
And yeah.
That was great.
well, it's good messaging.
It was good.
Yeah. So the big red flag, the first huge like roll my eyes moment I saw with this bar was they had no menus for cocktails.
No, we make it up as we go along.
Right. So the art goes in and says, "What should I have?" And he says, "I mean, you can have this star effer shot. Some people
Yeah,
like
Nicole,
that."
can you make me a star effer?
Yeah.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Okay.
I really don't.
But you need to have an identity. I mean, every one of those bartenders, even if you don't have a menu, which you should, what's your specialty? Boom, here it is. You say it right away. You get the customer excited. That's the identity of your bar. I
Right.
feel like she was pulling something out of her ass here.
Well, clearly, I mean, she named the shot Starfucker.
Right. Exactly. So now we go into the kitchen, and this is when the real red flags start to happen.
Ooh.
The thing I had trouble watching was him using these dirty towels.
That's what I
sad.
have here. The
Oh.
dirty towel stack was amazing.
It was, I mean, Kev, you're really good about having us keep our laundry good. We have all those clean towels in the. Is this hard for you as a manager to watch this specifically?
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Well, it's brutal because it's the easiest thing to do. Like you can't control. There's anything you can control, you have to control. Right. There's going to be things out of control, such as hurricanes, such as staff being sick or whatever the case. But you can have clean towels.
Right.
And
exactly.
you know what they were doing, right? They were washing them. But the problem is when you absorb, I don't know, Nicole, if you have kitchen experience, but when you absorb this grease, forget it.
Yeah.
It's like you probably has maybe 2 or 3 washes in it, and then the grease kind of just stays in it.
You have to throw them out and buy new ones.
I worked with a lot of grease in the carnival business, a lot of fry later oil.
Yeah.
And, your clothing would smell so bad. There's nothing you could do that could really wash it out over time. And you just have, like Nicole said, you have to throw it out.
Yeah. We had the last place I worked in the restaurant in the back, you would see them ordering new towels every month.
And they're
because
so cheap.
You just gotta,
that's what you do. It's so cheap. You just, boom,
as long as you're recycling.
Yes.
Can't feel too bad about it.
Right.
So in terms of the food, the cheesesteak was obviously a mess. It was greasy. It was dripping. I will say this chicken sandwich looked kind of good to me.
I was excited.
So funny. My boyfriend said the same thing. He's like, "Who wouldn't want a sandwich?"
I love the sandwich, and I love the size of the sandwich. I'm
too.
like, this is great.
I would lean into that.
Listen,
I think.
I'm down with fat Sal's, right? I love those kind of big sandwiches.
Yeah.
Fat Sal's is a franchise out here in LA.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they have to be presented right, and I don't think that presentation kicked butt at all. I thought it looked, to me, it looked like the actual whole chicken was fried, just defeathered, put in a fryer, and put on the bun, And I think that's what Jon was trying to say. The presentation is what matters, and this just looks
and
like
then
a
also
mess.
no profit.
Right. That was
That was
Ryan.
money.
That was Ryan's big thing. Was no matter how it tastes, you're wasting your money. Either
Yes.
Right. So it's a $25
charge
sandwich.
more or cut back. But I thought it looked pretty good. The one other huge, in terms of, if we want to talk about this clientele, Jon goes outside. They hear something. There is a couple star effing in the bathroom.
Star effing.
Yeah, she comes out.
They're a star.
She comes out. He literally saw my vagina. She starts yelling.
I got so upset. Oh God.
This was a lot. Do you think this is a plant? This is the moment when I'm like, the producers are probably so happy that there was a couple having sex in that bathroom
Thrilled.
tonight. Yeah.
But not a plant.
I think also the people might have known that they were shooting there and just were going balls to the walls.
Right.
Literally.
You know what we've seen, guys, when I've done these 4 or 5 shows with Jon, is we've seen the regulars get really mad. There's some regulars who are just in awe of Jon. They're just sitting there observing. And then there's some regulars who are like, F you.
Right.
This is our bar.
Yep.
And they go and so maybe they knew they were filming it. Let's go bang in the bathroom. F these people.
Right. It's almost like that gentrification thing. If it's complicated, you don't necessarily want to see new clientele come in if you feel like it's yours. But
yeah, it's funny you guys say that because again, I'm going to bring up where I'm working now. It's a lot of regulars, and she was telling me that they went through bartenders because the regulars didn't like the bartender, and not because the bartender wasn't good, but because they didn't like their vibe or something like that. I'm
so you passed.
wow.
You made the cut. That's
I'm
good.
making the cut so far.
So far.
Yeah.
Keep us posted.
Well, for those regulars, that is a big part of their experience.
Right.
Whoever's going to serve the drinks is such a big part of the experience.
Yeah.
And
you just got to be mindful though if the place fills up and especially at night and you've been sitting there as your regular guys for your happy hour, you got to be attentive to everybody,
Right. Well, the straw that breaks the camel's back for our Recon team is seeing these bottles of liquor with what looked
Grains.
like growths inside of them of mold.
That's basically molded alcohol.
And they were pouring it.
And do you know how hard it is for mold to grow in alcohol? What
alcohol.
grows
It's
in
alcohol.
alcohol?
Man, that was
scary.
That got me sick to my
I
stomach.
loved Lisa Marie's reaction to this whole thing too. It was great.
She's funny. Yeah, she's again, you've got to be talented, but also great for TV. And I think Ryan and Lisa are both great for TV. But finally they enter. Taffer was pretty nice. He talks to Jim and Mel first. He's always polite. Hi, I'm Jon. Nice to meet you. And then we know it's coming later, but I appreciate that. He doesn't come in guns blazing. He warms up a little bit.
Yeah.
But he talks to Jim and Mel, and I think the main thing that we see in terms of why this bar is failing is, let's see. Oh, people are drinking behind the bar. That's a common thing that we see.
The inconsistency is the problem.
Right.
In that bar. And it was super inconsistent. I know we're getting to the stress test, but it was just stressful to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no one knows how to make the same drink. Maybe we should get into that because after, of course, the initial assessment, we need to figure out how to actually have consistency among our staff. They ask our staff to make a margarita, and she starts using Sprite.
Yeah. The only time I ever put Sprite in my margarita is when I'm working festivals because like we don't have like a full bar, so I make it with like tequila, sweet and sour, dash of Sprite, dash of OJ, and club soda. Like, and I'm talking a dash of Sprite
That's the
because
thing
Sprite
is-
is full of sugar.
She's
so the
pouring it into this shaker, and I'm a margarita guy, so I hated
Me
seeing
too.
that. And she's like, nope, stop there.
There are not 7 ingredients in a margarita. There are 4.
Right.
Yeah, and even 4 sometimes is too much to people because they like their margaritas super clean.
Right. In terms of the kitchen, Ryan goes back there to assess. They had cleaned it up, which is good. They did their job. But Ryan goes back into the freezer, and they have 2 months' worth of pork butt. They're not rationing their food correctly. This was just a supply chain issue, you know?
Also, did you notice he was overstocking on cheap meat? And I forget that a lot of restaurants do this, where they'll be like, well, I found it was like $1 a pound, so I grabbed it. Right. We can use it later. No, but you forget there are places that do this rather than having a regular system in which they buy the same quality of product.
Right. If you're overstocking on something you're going to throw away, no matter how good the deal is, it's wasted money.
I love their like references, like how John said, "Oh, there's a penis on the wall." That's a representation of who you guys are.
Yes.
And then my boy, my chef, Rye, he walks all over the meat. He's like, "I'm walking all over the meat, just like you're walking all." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're very good.
Good stuff here, and I think, I liked these 2 personalities a lot. Of course, this is a little bit of training, but we've got to get into the stress test. The big red flag with this stress test was Susan. So we haven't talked about it yet, but basically Jim and Mel, who are the parents, husband, wife, who co-own the bar, are trying to groom their daughter Susan to be able to manage this bar one day. Mm-hmm. And Kev, I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts about millennial entitlement and how kids are raised these days. But she just...
I didn't blame her, though.
No, exactly.
No, they didn't train her. It wasn't her
Exactly. So she just was not ready to manage.
No.
And so to me, the primary issues with this stress test came down to her. Do you guys agree with that?
I would say so, because if she was dictating on who should be where, doing what, helping especially with table placement and numbers, and just like saying, all right, this is 1 to 16, like, and do it that way. She wasn't even speaking, and I thought that was so funny because Lisa Marie was just like looking at the camera like, no one's even listening to me, like no one's talking. She got really frustrated to the point that she had to go talk to John.
Yeah.
And just bring him back. And I loved it. I loved the stress test so much because I there was too much going on to be like, oh, and then we have one of the bartenders complaining about, where's my bar back? Where's my bar back? Girl, step up to the plate and be your own damn bar back.
Right.
Like, I understand he wasn't present and that was an issue, but like you have to react as a bartender when somebody's not behind you and just do the work.
Right.
It's your bar. You're bartending. You can't always rely on your bar back.
Just providing a little side commentary. Can
Yes.
we just give a shout out to the Barback's red, white, and blue American flag outfit?
That's Kevin. Kevin, we love
Right?
you.
And no, that outfit, I actually went online to try to find it because I want to wear that.
It's nice.
You want to
Right?
wear it like
Yeah.
on your Jersey Shore episode?
And July 4th is coming up, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was fantastic. A little bit of a letdown day 2.
Well, we didn't. Yeah, we hardly met Kevin. I was like, this guy in the America onesie,
Yeah, it came out.
got to be amazing.
America onesie. We need
Yeah.
to Google that.
We'll find it,
Anyway, I
Kev.
had to bring that up.
America.
I'm glad you did. No, it was important to bring up. So my favorite Lisa Marie moment you were mentioning. So this is a huge problem with this staff. They're frowning. They're saying the F word.
Yeah.
No matter how much you're falling apart, bedside manner is just so important. You can be terrible at your job. I know this personally
This
because
is Jeff Graham, the best bedside manner in the
you can be
in show
terrible at what
business.
you do, but if you smile, you can do pretty well.
That is so true.
So true.
Sometimes I get told to smile behind the bar, but
I did
sometimes,
see that.
but it's just, sometimes I'm just in a zone. So I'm just like, I'm working, I'm working.
Right.
What am I gonna
But
do?
Lisa Marie says, I need you to look at your guests who have money and
Yeah.
smile and say, we're happy
And
you're
they cut
here.
to the guy with the 20 just on his forehead. Like, it was great.
So that was a huge problem to me because, again, so much work can be done by just being pleasant.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Even when I do voiceovers sometimes and I'm reading, like, if I smile, I'm going to sound better.
Right. It does a
That's
lot of
right.
work.
You smile through it. That's a technique in directing.
Yes.
Exactly. So, not a great stress test as usual. I think a lot of this falls on Susan, unfortunately, but we've got some great work that we do with Susan later throughout the episode. But we have to assess the stress test. And basically, John agrees with us. He says, Susan isn't growing, and Jim and Mel, this falls on you. As parents, it's your job to nurture her, but as business owners, you
step
can't play
back.
favorites, right?
Yeah.
He says the best way to protect her is to step back, let her deal with it, and when she fails, step in.
That's such good advice. Like, and that's such good advice for parents too. Like, that's just kind of what happens. Like when we turn 18 and we go to college, like they're kind of like letting us go. And if we need help or something, then we give them a call and they come. But it's like growing. It's a growing method,
Right.
You know. It's how she's going to be successful in life, not just with the bar, but as a human being.
Kev, you feel like a lot of the problems that sort of stem our generation's inability to take responsibility does owe to our parents, you would argue, right?
It's a parent's fault. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So the big thing he says is, Susan's got to get prepped. Is it Jim? Yeah, Jim, I need you and your daughter to set deadlines.
Yeah, timeline on
Yeah.
success.
I think that's a great piece of advice, right?
great.
If you give yourself a deadline, you're going to get it done.
Goals.
Right.
Set goals for
Goals,
yourself, and then you'll
accountability.
meet them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how. That's the key to success.
So they have I really enjoyed this father-daughter moment. They decide on this 1-year mark, and this was sweet, I thought.
Yeah, overall, every time that the family was together, like they cut to her holding her mom's hand, I feel like they really fought back
were nice
tears.
people,
Yeah,
yeah.
I really think that they tried to put on a brave face and show that they really want this, they need this, and
I'm so excited to talk about the renovation because I hope we have enough time to do the bar rescue updates because I'm curious to see where this one's at. I know you, Nicole, you have that, right?
yeah, we have it.
Well, we don't have that much more to cover before the renovation. I mean, they get trained the real way after this stress test. We get to see this amazing Philly cheesesteak. I'm a huge Philly cheesesteak guy.
I think Philly cheesesteak 101.
Yeah,
We all learned a little bit about how to make a Philly cheesesteak. Right?
definitely.
The thinner the meat, the better.
Yes, looked amazing. And we also get the raspberry rodeo. Looked pretty good, I think.
Whatever.
Yeah.
This
what
is
does that
it's
mean?
when Nikki gets
Every time I'm not impressed. I think I was impressed on the last episode, and that was the only one, but to Lisa's defense, she had to create something that was simple for these
That they could
bartenders.
handle, right?
Yeah. Does it look pretty? Yes. I remember I was trained at a really nice restaurant once where my trainer told me like no berry, like double strain. Double strain. She didn't do that, but that's why the drink looks presentable. To me, if you double strain, the drink's cleaner, it tastes better. But okay, good job.
Right. You do what you can.
Yeah.
Well, before the renovations, which we're getting into, we do have one last powwow with the family. We learned, Jon talks about control, and this is something you talk about, Kevin, is, you can't fix what you can't control, but you can fix what you can control. So you couldn't control this hurricane, you couldn't control these health
I like
crises,
that.
but this bar you can. And you know what, now this is on you guys to fix this. And I was very moved and motivated by what Jon had to say here. Definitely. Well, let's talk about these renovations. Kev, I feel like I want to hear your thoughts on the new bar.
I loved it. I will give them one knock, and I get it. They're only there for 4 days. I really wish they went outside.
I agree.
And did all of it, and because you could have done so many a stage outside. You could have, you know what I mean? Because there's so much more money.
They needed underpower, man.
Yeah, because you really make this a summer experience
I know.
for people beyond
Not a
just,
haunted house, like all year round.
right? But a true experience. I wish. So I'm a little disappointed. Now, as far as the bar went, no, it was outstanding. It was beautiful, and I love them doing coming up with even a signature wall because we control that as well. So you're not going to write no more writing your name everywhere. You can write it on this wall,
Exactly.
and this is how you can be part of. Yeah,
I was
the
a bit
experience.
disappointed with this outside too, just because with such a huge property, I know it's a huge task for this crew. And they
Right.
only have 4 days, but yeah, I think there is something so exciting and unique about an outdoor bar.
Yes.
And I will say, Kev, I feel like I've learned so much about outdoor decoration from you specifically and lighting. And it would have been fun to see if there was some underpower.
And you can do
thrown
it
here.
cheap, and also again, you want to use everything that you can at your disposal. So you have all that land. God, by the way, guys, do you do a movie?
Right.
Right? Could you do pay-per-view fights?
Concerts.
Concerts, but there's so many community experience things that you could do outdoors.
NASCAR.
People on blankets can watch something, or you could even go with that room. You could even bring cars in, and they could watch from their cars.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So
Or their bikes.
or their bikes, yeah. But just creating different themes, and again, just to bring in more income, and also it would shake the stink off the place.
Right. Definitely.
So anyway, but it was outstanding. There, I mean, I'm glad they kept the name.
Yes.
They made it beautiful.
The inside was
It's
beautiful.
very clean, kind of plain, in my opinion, like a little bit You know what I mean by plain?
You know
just
what?
like a
Yes.
little bit ordinary. I wanted a little bit more spice
Well, I
to
think
the
you-
inside, but I mean, it's cleaned up. That's for
Here's
sure.
the thing. I think the reason it can be ordinary and plain because the bones were actually pretty good. It was
Right.
already pretty rigid. Like imagine, Nicole, if that was designed the way some of our other bars have been designed in the past, and then it looked like this, you'd be like, oh my God, like
You're
know.
right.
Yeah.
But because it already, had that Western outdoor kind of the bones to it, so it does just look like a cleaned up, classier version of that.
Definitely.
But
Yeah.
that end product, if we were to walk in and have a chance to buy that bar or some of the other bars we've seen, I love that setup.
Definitely.
The one thing I'm going to note is that the signature wall, I think he should have done like something different where you can erase it because
like a
I
blackboard.
feel like in years to come, people are just going to use those pens on the walls and stuff, and that they'll probably get in trouble for it. But
I will say though, if you can give someone an outlet that they want,
Yeah.
but it's still on limits,
yeah, let's just hope it stays
hope,
with
yeah.
that. It's still cute and creative.
Well, I think that's about all I have for coverage of this episode. I say unless we have anything else, do you want to do quick Taffer takeaways from this episode? The one I want is just to mention is just bedside manner. That is half the battle,
Yeah.
Yep.
That was my big Taffer
Yeah,
takeaway.
and you saw it too in the episode. The girls were smiling. There was a lot of cheering. The girls were looking up, shaking. One bartender, we got to give a shout out to her because she killed it. I'm not sure which one it was. We had Jessica and Brandy, but I think she was the one that was complaining about the no bar back. And then when her tools were all in front of her, she was killing it. So
I think this is Brandy.
yeah, she was on fire.
My takeaway is, controlling what you can't control. You have to be able to what you can, and so that you're better prepared for what you can control.
Yes.
And consistency.
Well, with that, I'm excited to hear about some updates. Nicole Brajer, what do you got?
Okay. Well, let's just talk about the bar in general, and it's good versus bad. I mean, they had some good reviews. A regular that's coming in, great place with service. Shout out to Susan. That the hangout area outside is great. The parking is good. And the prices are awesome, which I guarantee, being that we know what kind of income area that is, probably cheap drinks down there.
Yeah.
But it had good reviews. Everybody likes to hang out, but it's smoky. They're allowing smoking in this bar.
It's Florida bars. Ugh, always
Which
turns
brings
me off.
me to my next point, because it's a Florida bar, and Florida has a reputation with guns, and someone was shot outside the bar.
Whoa.
Just for and the person that was shot was actually someone that worked at the bar, a bar back, and this was only 2 months after the rescue, and the poor guy was only 29 years old. Killed outside, was a regular, again, worked in the kitchen and as a bar back. He was sitting on someone's car, and the guy shot him and was arrested and charged with second-degree murder, which is probably why now the bar isn't doing as hot as it once was. We even, here in Bar Rescue updates, have someone saying that Bar Rescue was staged, and that more than you would believe, quote, insanity.
That was Mel. That was the Jim's
wife.
Yeah, so
I don't know why they're hating on the rescue when they did, in fact, turn that place around.
And they were having a viewing party. So
Right.
it seems like, are they being positive about the renovation in the show? Do we know, or are they hating?
I think this feels like it's not necessarily positive or negative. It's just a behind the scenes.
I also think that they're drawing back their old crowd, and that's not going to, have a successful bar. You have to draw in, good and bad.
I can't wait to bring this up.
Oh, yeah, and then we'll just dive right into the crowd. And you were talking about, having a stage, just like we were saying before. So they decided to do a bikini contest that actually went viral, and they have 3.8 million views. And this is quite the bikini contest. It's funny,
It's Ashley.
because in the beginning, we see some unfortunate bikini bodies, but then it gets kind of decent.
For those of you on the podcast, I'd highly advise you go to YouTube.
First girl looked good. She's got a good body. This
We got
girl.
some twerking.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
A little pirouette.
Okay.
So they're utilizing their stage, that's good.
And they're on brand.
This girl has a nice body. Kind of a lame cartwheel.
But I was gonna say that was terrible. I think that's the same girl. I can't twerk.
Really?
Can she is the question. This is a good time to mention, guys, if you're in your car doing laundry, whatever, listening to the podcast, I do want to let you know that we have a YouTube video as well. It's a different experience. You can see their beautiful faces, my moderately attractive face, and we'd love to engage in the comments with you there. So check out our YouTube video. That's Bar Rescue's AfterBuzz YouTube video, and you can subscribe to our channel there as well.
Wow, that murder is gonna. I think
It's not great.
We've had murders on the Bar Rescue shows before that John's had to come clean up. And remember what he said? It's like it almost kills a brand.
It's a stain. It's a big stain on the brand.
And it's not like it was just someone who was like in attendance. I mean, it was someone that worked there. Oof. That's brutal.
Man, that's another tough blow to that family. They've had a rough hand dealt to them.
Maybe they need to move.
I know.
Sell
well,
that bar
I forgot
and
to
move.
mention it, but this was one funny moment of the episode. They're talking about their history with the bar, and John says, well, what's the story? And he goes, I bought it, back 6 years ago. And he goes, without telling your wife? How was that?
Yes,
And
we
he goes,
forgot to
I mean,
mention
it
that.
was not good, not great. And she goes, it was really bad.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly, if that were me and that was I'd say no. I would make it a point that we are not going through with this because I am very one on a big on a location, and I just think that it's probably
It's
not
a big
the
choice
best
to buy a
area.
bar in a place your family doesn't live. But hey, you know what? They're making it work.
Are they?
We'll see. Well, any other thoughts, guys, on this episode of Bar Rescue before we make our way out?
Just so glad that we're bringing back the crazies.
The
I
crazies.
honestly thought it was great, and
Yeah.
I wish them the best. I really do.
Definitely.
They seem nice. Hopefully they appreciate what went on.
Right.
Like,
I think
but-
they will. They seem like a good family.
It says here in the updates they appreciate it, and they've been promoting it. I just think that they have to remember clientele and security, man. Like you need security. That's a big place.
It's a big place.
So if they don't have enough security, that could be a problem, and maybe why that
I
happened.
think that's scary too. Yeah, it's so much space that how do you police that?
Manage it. Yeah.
Tough one.
Well, I have high hopes for this family. I have high hopes for this bar, and I really enjoyed this episode, guys. Of course, this was an episode of Bar Rescue, and this was the after show for Bar Rescue here on AfterBuzz TV. Guys, we're here every Monday, assuming it's not a Back to the Bar episode, at 2 p.m. We have a YouTube video. You can tune in live. Our chat wasn't too active today, but we'd love for you guys to join in. You can ask questions to us there. Keven is full of this kind of wisdom, lighting, bar, renovations, and he's just a great person to pick their brain. So that being said, Keven, if they want to connect with you on Twitter, where can they do that?
You can come at Undergaro. You can also check me out on AfterBuzz TV's The Jersey Shore. And let's see, Billions just wrapped. We had an amazing season.
Good.
And then you can also check me out on AfterBuzz TV's The Tomorrow Show.
Yes. And Nicole, how about you?
You can find me at Nicole Brajer all over social media, and that's about it for me right now.
And guys, I can be found on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham. If you're interested, I'm hosting a show called Claws. It's a show that a small contingency of huge fans are watching. It's really, really good. It's got Niecy Nash and Carrie Preston, and it's a similar...
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of her name. Oh my God, the girl that dated Chris Brown. What's
Oh,
her
right,
name?
Carucci's in
Yeah,
it too.
I've met her a couple
but
times.
it's the same kind of really high quality guilty pleasure stuff that we see in Bar Rescue. So I'd recommend you check it out.
Scripted or
Scripted.
Scripted.
It's really
Very
great.
nice.
It's kind of like a female Breaking Bad, but it's for the summer. It's kind of like
Yeah.
got that summer sleaze, and it's like a little soapy, but also smart. It's great. It's on TNT. That's called Claws. So check that out. It's a great show. And we'll be here next week, guys. One more time, this is the Bar Rescue After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.